warm welcome to all of you. We are a place of acceptance, embracing all, the old, the young, gay, lesbian, straight, queer, trans, cis, non-binary, rich, poor, immigrant, migrant, Republican, Democrat, independent, Christian, Jew, Muslim, atheist, pagan. I hope you get the idea. We swim with and embrace the vast sea of all humanity, no dogma or creed required. If you're a longtime member, you already know this is your home, a house of love. If you're new here or newish, it is our sincere hope that you will feel the warmth of our hearth during your visit, and that in time you'll settle in with us and join our community. We're ready to receive you, arms open. I have today on my phone our Zoom stream. So those of you on Zoom are watching me, watching you, watching me, watching you. And I'm happy to say we did not disrupt the space-time continuum by doing this. We have, as of this moment, 11 families or members joining us via Zoom. And for those of you here in the sanctuary, I want you to take a look around and just look at empty chairs and imagine those 11 people, and maybe more, because we don't know if they're families, couples, etc. And recognize how much fuller our community is with our virtual participants. Yes. Dave told me this, so again, we're reaching all the way to the Rockies, you know. In a similar vein, though, look around and subtract 11 of the people that are here today, and recognize how much smaller our community is without our virtual friends and members. So, welcome all, live or in the ether. As usual, a couple of announcements. If you are here in person today and would like to lift up a joy or a sorrow, or share a sorrow, you'll find a form either in the seat back in front of you or at the very back of the room where there's a candle lit. Please take time to fill out the joy or sorrow during our time of greeting and bring them forward to me so I can share them out when we do our prayer and meditation. If you're on Zoom, I would also like to try an experiment. Lift up your joys or sorrows in the chat box in the Zoom session, and hopefully I will be able to figure out how to get to the chat and share your joys and sorrows as well with this congregation. And now, the illustrious Philip Moore.
Good morning. My name is Philip Moore, and my personal pronouns are he, him, and his. Thank you for having me. It is always a joy to be here. And I'm particularly joyful today because I'm wearing pink. And I'm wearing pink because next Saturday will be Paint the Park Pink Day at the balloon races. And I'm here to tell you about who I'm going to be meeting for our balloon rides. So a few weeks ago, I encouraged some of you to maybe learn how to fly. Well, 3 of you agreed to do so. So this Friday, I will be meeting Pat's life daughter, Dominique, at the park. Saturday, I'll be meeting Shun Ma and maybe Bobby. I don't know which of the 2 are going to be riding. No, that's actually wrong. Oh, no, Saturday's right. And then Sunday, I'll be meeting Bob Alto, who's already committed to being there at 4 a.m. to be there for the Glow Show. But I do encourage you all to come. It's an incredible event if you haven't had a chance to do it yet, and we'll have a great time, and they'll get a chance to learn how to fly. But that's just the start, right? We're now kicking into the main part of our online auction, which begins at, wait for it, noon today. And I want to make sure you all know to go to our UUFNN website, and Chris Pecars, the illustrious Chris Pecars, has put a link up there that takes you directly to the auction catalog, so it's very easy to find everything that's for bid. And don't wait, because those popular events and dinners Lois and Dave, I'm looking at you. I'll be signing up for the play reading today. Are going to be going quickly, so make sure you get in there very soon and get those bids going. It should be exciting. And I also want to just thank you. Thank you for supporting this auction. Thank you for supporting this organization, which is beloved to me and so many others. Any questions you have, visit the folks at the auction table in the lobby over the next few weeks. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to being up here again in the future to talk about flying. And for now, Nathan has an announcement.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Bakken. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the Director of Congregational Life here at UUFNN. And this year, from September to June, twice a month, our Greener Sanctuary is going to be offering a moment for some climate notes. I think I did that wrong. And what these notes are is 2 minutes twice a month where we are given information to help support climate change. And to do our first climate note, I invite Janet up.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and my name is Janet, and I will be speaking about the new American Climate Corps this morning. But first, I wanted to ask everyone, wasn't it wonderful to hear from the 3 Hung Scholarship recipients last Sunday? Yes, they put all their faith and effort into convincing Congress to pass climate legislation. The youth of our nation do care. They want to work toward the sustainable future. They want to pursue environmental justice. Now there is a place where young people can gain experience working on environmental projects across the country. President Biden's brand new American Climate Corps, the ACC, began its work in June of this year. The program is based on an FDR successful Civilian Conservation Corps, the CCC, created during the Great Depression of 1930s. Thousands and thousands of jobless young men were recruited to upgrade and conserve forests, parks, and rangelands. And my own Uncle Tony, I remember him talking about that he worked in one of those CCC camps back then. So here we are with the new ACC. It can open doors to rewarding careers and make a real difference conserving Americans' lands, waters, and air in every community. At the same time, its members can earn a reduction in college tuition. Jobs are usually short-term and come with small stipends. Allow me to give you some examples of the types of jobs offered. First, projects like water quality testing, construction of solar panel installations in low-income areas, plastic waste cleanup, streams monitoring, wetlands restoration, jobs at tree nurseries growing new trees for our urban forests, and reforestation. Wow, I think that these jobs do help us all. So if you want more information, just Google American Climate Corps. Thank you.
And now rise up as you are willing and able for our time of greeting and say hello to your neighbors.
Good morning. I'd like to start out with our chalice lighting. I'd like to invite Emily up to light our chalice. And this is a reading from the Reverend Karen LeBlanc. This isn't just a place of worship. This isn't just a fellowship of like minds. This isn't just a Sunday morning filled with spirit and topped off with coffee and cookies. This is our church, our congregation, where we are building beloved community, where we are opening ourselves to each other, where we trust and love, rise and fall together. This is where we feel safe. This is where we know we are welcome. This is where we belong. For this gift and so many others, we light this chalice. So now we're going to enter, rejoice, and come in. Choir?
Much like people in this room hang out in the gathering room and kind of stream in at the beginning of service, the same thing happens with our Zoomers. We now have 21 Zoom participants. I'd like to share with you some of the joys and sorrows from our community. From Pam Garmley, Christopher Carbons died of kidney and spinal cancer. His celebration of life was yesterday, and he leaves behind his wife, Jen, and his 9-year-old son, Vincent. We send them our best and warmest wishes. Dennis Conley would like to raise up Ryan. Ryan, Megan, and I want to express our thanks and gratitude for all the kindness regarding Ryan's sudden illness, and he is doing well now. That's what we're here for. From Will Bolin and Ross Anderson, Doyle Cornelius died Wednesday. He was a friend and leader of Reno's LGBTQ community. I'm certain Doyle will be missed, and hopefully the good works will continue. Emily Montan would like to send joy to the Cherokee Nation and their diaspora for its national holiday yesterday. To paraphrase their Secretary of Education, they don't ban books and honor all, no matter what they see in the mirror. And finally, Jackie O'Reilly wants to call us to put our healing thoughts towards Diane Crown. Diane has had several health issues recently, so we wish her all healing and speedy recovery. I built a meditation today that helps us find our way home to the place that welcomes us. So go ahead and make yourself comfortable in whatever position feels like home. Whether you're curled up on a couch or in a chair, or sitting upright and alert, or something different, the position that your body says to you, this one. Get a sense of your body and the space that it takes up. Maybe gently rock from side to side, roll your head, flex your shoulders, just feel yourself in this space. And now, when you're ready, let your body rest and nourish it with 3 breaths of whatever feels natural to you. Breathing in and out. And again, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Welcome yourself home like an old friend long absent, with big open arms and an eager ear. Imagine listening to all the stories, beliefs, and adventure yourself would share with you after a long absence. You're laughing, crying, thinking, the day melding into night as the hours pass. Maybe the 2 of you drink hot tea and eat bread fresh from the oven, oozing with melted butter, around your careworn kitchen table. You are together with yourself in this safe, familiar space, the house that is your body, that is your mind. There's no need to censor or deny any part of yourself. You can trust this honest, accepting place. And let us just dwell in our houses for a little bit of silence and reflection. In the weeks and months ahead, I invite you to continue coming home to yourself over and over again. Welcome you. Love yourself first and foremost. Blessed be. Didn't want to wheel my tank back and forth. This is a reading, A Theology of Welcome by Reverend Dr. David Brendan. Permission secured by Soul Matters. Let's be the welcome we crave. Open hearts, arms outstretched. Let's embody radical welcome, unquestioning love. Let's be the welcome we crave, deeply hearing voices and hearts. Let us be the welcome we crave, enriching, understanding. Let us embody the community we crave.
Well, as many of you know, we are in search for a choir director, and the word is that the choir had been said, you know, we're really tired, so we need a break. But they had a meeting recently, and they said, we really miss singing. So they showed up here today. Look at this. There's a choir here. You know, and also before I begin, since this is Labor Day weekend, I thought we would give a shout out to all of those that have been involved with the labor movement that continue to make our country a great place to work under continued better conditions. So let's give a round of applause to all those involved with you. But I was thinking back the last 2 years. Labor Day weekend, I actually gave a reflection about Labor Day, and so I decided I was going to stick with the theme for the month. The Unitarian Universalists put out suggested themes, and this month's is welcome. Well, I started thinking about that, and I thought, well, I'll share with you some personal history of feeling welcome or not feeling welcome in various churches, and why I think we do a good job of welcoming people through our doors. Are we perfect? No. But we do continue to strive to do better, and maybe some of you will have some similar experiences in your background. You see, my own personal experience started, and this journey started long before I was born. You see, back in the mid-1930s, my parents met, fell in love, and got married, which, you know, was a common thing. But there was a problem. You see, my dad came from a large Catholic family, and my mom was divorced. She had a 2-year-old child and was not Catholic. And that kind of caused immediate friction. But my mom agreed to send us kids to what the Catholics call catechism. Anybody familiar with catechism? Oh, there's a few hands that went up. But it didn't last long for me, since I was in the first grade, and my mom was becoming increasingly upset that both the nuns, or the nuns and even the priest were telling my older sister that my mother was going to go to hell. She pulled us out of catechism. And a few days later, the nuns showed up at our house to convince my mom to send us back. After listening to them for a while, she was standing there doing her ironing, and she put down the iron. She came around the ironing board, and she gave them the bum's rush out the front door. So ended my connection to the Catholic Church. Not a very welcoming device on their part, would you say? Well, for whatever reason, even as a young person, I felt a need for spiritual connection. So I started to go to various churches in town with my friends. And I really liked the Mormon church because they had dances. I thought that was kind of neat. But when I was about middle school age, I wasn't in middle school because Fallon didn't have a middle school, I became involved with the Methodist Youth Fellowship. It didn't hurt that, well, all the cute girls were members of the Methodists, including the minister's daughters. They were really cute. I'd mention a couple of names, but you probably might know them, and I don't have their permission. A couple of incidents happened, though, that was a precursor to my being a UU, even though I had no idea what a UU was. I was trying to reconcile my mind because I was reading something in the Bible, and I thought, you know, this is just a scientific impossibility. So I asked the minister, I said, so how can this be? His answer was, well, you just have to have faith. Somehow that answer never satisfied me, and you know what? It still doesn't. The second incident happened when I became president of the Methodist Youth Fellowship Group. I was sent off to a camp in the beautiful Santa Cruz Mountains in California. Beautiful area. In addition to learning how to put salt on slugs. Oh, that wasn't a religious lesson. But at the end of the camp, we were sitting on this grassy slope looking down where there was a minister giving a mesmerizing sermon. And I could tell people were getting all fired up, and finally he said to all gathered there, he said, if you have found Jesus, please come forward. And all the young fellow campers started rising and walking down the slope towards the minister. One by one, they responded. But I just sat there, and I looked around until I was the only one. I was alone. I felt weird, but I just couldn't grasp that feeling, and I had to stay true to myself. So I didn't start attending church again until Lois and I became engaged, and we both started attending the First Methodist downtown Reno. We were married there, and we never went back afterwards. I mean, the people were nice enough. I still have friends there at the First Methodist, but the words never captured us. Well, later on, we realized that those Sundays were just another opportunity, another date. So 3 years later, I was reading a magazine interview with the then president of the Unitarian Universalist Association about the recent mergers of the Unitarian and the Universalist churches. I read it again. Then I showed it to Lois and had her read it, and based on what we read, we decided to see if there was a UU church in Reno, and there was. There was a small group meeting in the foyer of the YWCA on Valley Road. We were immediately impressed with this intellectual pursuit of major questions of the day. And it was much like the forums that we do here today with Kevin and Bob and others that put that on. We were immediately welcomed. And even though some of the members had been our college professors, there was never a feeling of hierarchy. We were impressed. But not long after that, we were off to the military, and I was stationed in Virginia, and we started attending the UU Church in Richmond. Oh, the minister there gave great sermons. They had a beautiful old church, but they were planning a brand new building. Again, we were very welcome. Even though the minister teased us about being from Nevada, we thought, wow, this is what a real church looks like. Maybe someday we'll have that in Reno. Well, upon returning to Reno, we became immediately active in the fellowship. I was soon elected to the board and attended my first regional meeting in the Bay Area. And what really struck me most at that meeting was the discussion about openly gay folks being UU ministers. Remember, this was 1971. 1971. And still today, we have religious institutions fighting over not only gay ministers, but even if gays should be welcome in their churches. Well, it wasn't too many years later, we here as a congregation went through a process, and we applied for, was accepted as a welcoming congregation, and we're still very, very proud of that. A few years ago, the Unitarian Universalist Association had some backlash about people of color not being totally accepted into leadership positions. As a result, and in fact, our congregation, as well as UUA, went through a lot of self-analysis about how we treat folks of color. My main point here, even though we may not always be perfect, and even though we still have a way to go, we always accept the challenge and we work on it because we always want to have people feel welcome here. So I found this little book in my library. It's published in 2009, entitled, appropriately, Welcome, a Unitarian Universalist Primer. I was glancing through it, and a quote from the Reverend Barbara Merritt caught my eye. We stand in a tradition of abundance. We have said for centuries, there is room in our religion for every kind of seeker and sojourner. We are called to embody a generosity of spirit, an open and optimistic view of God and of life that claims that everyone is included. Skeptics and poets and scientists are welcome here, as are nonconformists and shy and uncertain folk, and all manner of smart people and foolish ones. I believe that our restlessness and doubts have a divine origin and are a sign of peace and of grace. Our love of truth can be understood as the holiest of gifts. Our devotion to truth may be the means of our deliverance. Amen. So may it be, and namaste.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lily. My pronouns are she and her. And as you notice, we're mostly all here again. in the absence of a director. We got together Monday and decided that we really wanted to do whatever we could without a director. So right now, we're going to sing an anthem that many of you will probably recognize. And we chose it because the name of it is actually My Life Goes On, but the main point of it is I cannot keep from singing. And that's what it turned out we all kind of felt. I also want to just extend an invitation to any of you who might be interested in joining the choir. We need more people, and everyone is welcome. It's real helpful if you can read music, but just get in touch if you are at all interested. Thank you.
I have on my phone a playlist that I titled simply Hymns, and I listen to one every night just before I go to bed. This happens to be one of my favorites. So I probably listen to this song every 10 days or so. So anyhow, now is the time to share our bounty. There are a multitude of ways for you to give: check, cash, electronic. All of our giving options are on the screen behind me or in your Zoom session. Every month, we give a portion of our offerings to a community partner through our Share the Plate program, reflecting our mission to support good works beyond these walls and into our larger community. Our partner for September is Monai Village. Monai Village is an initiative to guide and support teenagers aging out of foster care, providing them with the basic skills and competencies so they can become successful adults. Their I don't know, executive director, but their representative will be here on the 15th to give you a more personal view of their works. So now, let our offering begin.
Hello, I'm Sandy Young, And while the basket is being put around, we are going to sing a story song, a folk song, and I would like you to come in with a chorus. The chorus has 2 sentences. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. I'll marry you someday. And we'll sing it through with this. This is the melody. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. I'll marry you someday. Once more. Oh, no, I'm going to go right in the story. I wish I had a nickel. I wish I had a dime. I wish I had a pretty little girl to love me all the time. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. I'll marry you someday. You ought to see my Cindy. She lives away down south, and she's so sweet the honeybees swarm around her mouth. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. I'll marry you someday. First time I saw Cindy, she was standing in the door, her shoes and stockings in her hand, her feet all over the floor. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. I'll marry you someday. She took me to the parlor. She cooled me with her fan. She said I was the prettiest thing in the shape of mortal man. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. I'll marry you someday. I wish I were an apple hanging on a tree, and every time my Cindy passed, she'd take a bite of me. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. I'll marry you someday. I wish I had a needle as fine as I could sew. I'd sew that gal to my coattail, and down the road I'd go. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy. I'll marry you someday. Thank you.
By the way, the nickname for my cylinder is in fact Cindy. And so when I'm moving it around, I'm dancing with Cindy. Can't make this stuff up. And now, can you please join me in blessing our offerings? Waiting for them. Thank you, Mary Gill. To the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy, we dedicate ourselves and these our offerings. Thank you for your generosity.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me.
the chalice is extinguished, but its lives live on in the minds of the hearts and souls of each one of us. Let us carry the flame with us and share it with those we know, with those we love, and most especially with those we have yet to meet. And now stay standing for the benedictions. I see some have joined hands. If the rest of you would like to do that, you feel comfortable doing so. I close with this benediction by Barbara Hamilton Hallway. Go now in peace. Deeply regard each other. Truly listen to each other. Speak what each must speak. Be ready in every moment to disarm your own heart. Rejoice in this love you have begun. Amen.